All right, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and let me start by saying I don't know how long we've been live before I started talking because I hit the go live button or start streaming button, and then it just said connecting for a couple of seconds, and the thing was stuck there. So I don't know how long I've been silent. Um, but yeah, what's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and we are doing another. What should I call this? Recently woke up stream, as in recently woke up from sleep. Uh, yeah, today I'm a little later than the past two streams, but I was like, okay, oh wait, holy shit. The connection is struggling a bit. My connection is struggling a bit. Are we good though? I don't think we are dropping frames. I think, hold on. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. It's cool. All right, so if you look at the bottom right, you'll notice that VS Code is kind of not there. VS Code was taking some time to load, so I was like, okay, I'll start up the stream and just yap until VS Code loads up. Because as it is, I at the beginning of my streams, I do yap a bit. Um, but yeah, dude, we're gonna be doing another study stream today, and today, okay, so yesterday, after the stream, I started working on this, but I continued working on that little side project that I had of what should I call it? The data visualization project that I had for that I was doing for somebody else. And I started working on the various bits and pieces of it because I'm building the UI in Streamlit, and Streamlit has its own workflow. So, like when you're building stuff, you kind of have to follow that workflow. Whatever you're building, you have to build it within the confines of Streamlit, right? So I had to just refresh my knowledge on what those limitations are, or not limitations, but what are the tools that I'm working with. I had to just sort of refresh my knowledge on that. And then I started working on the bits and pieces, various data visualization things. So we have the massive sales data set, right? And then we have a client's masters list, which is basically a list that contains client data. And then there's an items master list, which is a list that contains all of the items and um, any extra details that need to be attached to those items. We add like extra columns for that and attach the not attach the items, add the details in there. So we have an items list, we have a clients list, and then we have the massive sales data list, sales data set. So with this data set, there's a whole bunch of different types of visualizations that can be done. And the first thing I wanted to do was work on very basic stuff like displaying actual lists and also creating like a record search page. Because like, okay, we have the massive sales data set, right? What I wanted to do is I wanted to create a page where you could search for various records based on certain search parameters. Setting up the search parameters UI was easy. That's not really that complicated. I just had to like again work within the confines of Streamlit, work within the limitations of Streamlit tools, which is fine. I set that up. The complex part for me was, and I still haven't. I still haven't like solved that problem. That's actually kind of what we are doing today. The complex part for me was the Boolean indexing. See, because Pandas has this how do I even say this? Pandas has this thing where when you're trying to index a data frame, you can index it by, a numerical index. You can index it by even labels. From what I remember, the numerical index would, I guess they call it indexing by position, which kind of makes sense in this case because like those indices are supposed to represent the position in the data set, in the table, in the data frame. Okay, hold on. VS Code has loaded. Wait, what just loaded up here? What was I doing here? Let's go down to the last thing. Yeah, this is what we were doing yesterday. We were plotting this stuff. All right, great. Let's run this just to, get Jupyter notebooks running because like the first run usually takes some time. So I'm going to start the process and then I'll carry on talking. So, okay. Pandas has this thing where you can index by, there's various ways that you can index a data frame and even a series for that matter. One of the ways is by providing conditions. And those conditions usually evaluate to a sort of, I guess it's a series. It evaluates to a bunch of booleans. More specifically, the amount of rows that your data set has, it evaluates into a list or a series of that many booleans, which says true or false or whatever. And so you can then pass in that Boolean array as an indexer. You can use that Boolean array to index your data frame. I don't know if I explained it very well. I'm gonna show an example here of what that looks like. Okay, so this did not run. Let's just create a new thing here and do print hello world. Let that run. And in the meantime, while that's running, let's import pandas as PD. I think we just need pandas. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a data frame here. Let's say, oh, IntelliSense is not there yet. Okay, so I'm just going to hope that I'm right about this. In the data frame, we are, oh yeah, okay, cool. IntelliSense is here. And wait, is this done running? No, it's not done running. Is it still running? It's still running. Okay, okay. I just noticed this thing here. Okay, so in this we're going to create a couple of columns of data. Okay, so let's create, I don't know, let's do A, B, 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 and then C. I guess one more C is fine. So what are we looking at? We're looking at 7 records in total, right? Or we are looking at 7 rows, I should say. So let's provide 7. I mean, we're going to create another column and let's provide 7 values for that column as well. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then for this column, let's make it like, I don't know, fruits. So we can do apple, banana, orange, and then we'll make duplicates of this and put it in different places. Actually, it doesn't have to be in different places. For now, it can just be here. So that's 3. Okay. And you know what? We can have, let's make it 4 bananas. Okay. So that's done. So now if I just noticed the thing is done running, which is great. So now if we've created this data frame, right? Dude, actually, I just realized I should have, hey there, Garb. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. We are doing some stuff with pandas. Um, we're doing some data science things with pandas. I was just explaining how how Boolean indexing works in this situation. So if I print out this data frame, it's going to give all of the data, right? Another way that I could do this is, let's say I wanted to print out, only the rows that have B in it, right? The way that I would do that is, I would check column 1. I would check for rows where column 1 is equal to B. Did I do this right? I think I did this right. Let's see if that works. No, I did not do this right. I missed something. Is it called O1? Oh, that's what I missed. Okay. All right. So as you can see, that returns the rows. It returns the records where column B is equal to, no, call O1 is equal to B, right? So there's another way that you can do this. Basically, how do I show this? So this condition that I've provided here, it evaluates to this. Why are you using Jupyter notebooks? Seems pretty slow on iteration. I mean, it's just what I've been using for the longest time, and it just works for me. But I mean, if you have like better suggestions, then feel free to drop them. I'm always willing to check out new stuff. And if I feel like it's something that I can use in my workflow, then I'll go with it. For the time being, I'm more comfortable with Jupyter notebooks, mostly because I've been using Jupyter notebooks for a while. I don't necessarily have a performance comparison with anything else. Okay, so this evaluates to this. So what I could also do is, instead of using this condition, I could then pass in a list of Boolean values, which is basically these Boolean values. So I'm gonna recreate this list. In this case, it's true and true and true and false and false. And as you can see, when I use that, it gives the exact same result. It's because this evaluates to basically this, and when you pass it this kind of an array, it basically selects the rows based on the true false thing. And pretty much this is called Boolean indexing. This is the simple part for me. What became complex for me was, or well, what still is complex for me, is combining multiple conditions. Not just combining multiple conditions, because you can combine multiple conditions in this way. Like, okay, let's do what column 2 is greater, no, less than 5. Less than 5. And let's store this. I guess we can call it a mask. Let's store this mask in here, and then we can pass that in here. Right, so wait, why was I doing this? I forgot why I was doing this. Why was I doing this? Why was I, oh yeah, I was talking about like chaining multiple conditions together. So I have a situation where I have the UI, right? In the UI, the user is gonna either enter values into a text box, or they're gonna select values from like a drop-down list. And additionally, they can also select dates from a date picker or a date input field. And that date, I don't remember if that returns a date time object or if it returns a string, but like either way, it returns a date. And that's also one of the options. So what I need to do is I need to be able to create these conditions and chain the conditions together. But I also want to be able to account for values like all and values like none, and situations where, let's say, the text box is empty. There's nothing in the text box. So like in that situation, what should I be passing into the condition? So I've been exploring Boolean indexing. I've been reading up on Boolean indexing to get a better understanding of how exactly it works. I've also been trying to understand the use of these bitwise operators in this situation, because in this situation it's not exactly bitwise. I believe this counts as like element wise, but I've also been trying to understand the element wise, well, the use of bitwise operators for element wise operations. So yeah, I've just been trying to read up on this topic as much as I can, and that's what I intended to do today. Give me a second. Let me hydrate, and then I'll carry on reading. So here I was reading. I was in this section. There's this entire page, but like this page has this Boolean indexing thing. Oh, another thing that I found out, thanks to, well, Stack Overflow, was, so we have these conditions here, right? There's another way to go about doing this where you could just use the query method. In this method, you can pass in a string that contains all of your conditions, and that string then gets parsed into whatever those conditions are supposed, or that string then gets evaluated into these conditions. So in this case, it would be, let's say, call O1 equals B, and call O2 is less than 5. I don't remember if I'm supposed to use parentheses even in this. Let's see if that works out. Also, what does this return? It returns the data frame. Okay. There you go. We have the exact same result as if we created this mask and then tried loading the data in that way. And oh God, what did I just do? Okay. I just commented out the entire thing. Okay. So, where was I? What was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah. So I was about to say, in many situations, this ends up being less verbose than whatever you would do here. I still don't know because I haven't looked at like advanced use cases, so I can't say for sure which method is better. I'm sure like each of them has their pros and cons, but it's good to know that this actually exists because at one point I had the idea to construct the entire query string, which it works out good for me, especially if I want to like ignore certain search parameters. Constructing a query string works out much better than having something like this because if I'm constructing the query string, then I get to decide like which expressions show up there. But if I'm doing it in this way, so if I'm constructing the query string, it's more dynamic, right? So I can change what the query parameters are going to be at runtime. But if I'm doing it in this way, it's kind of hard coded in there. So if I want to ignore certain certain search conditions, I kind of have to find a way to just like make it a pass through kind of thing. So like the condition is still there, but the condition just evaluates to true. And so it kind of gets ignored, if that makes sense. Another thing I've been trying to understand, which I've been Googling a lot, because like, okay, I know about bitwise operators, right? But using bitwise operators as elementwise operators, I still don't fully understand how how the evaluation is happening there, what kind of calculation is happening there. Because like when we talk about bitwise operators, I mean I've done it using numbers, right? Um oh, you know what? Something I didn't look into. How would that work? Okay, anyways, I've been trying to understand because like I get the concept of I understand how it's working. It's basically using like truth tables, which is like that's like basically how this works, right? So if you use and, then you use the and truth table. If you use or, then you use the or truth table. I don't remember which other operators are available. So we have or, and not. Okay. I haven't tested out not, but I have tested out or and pretty much you're using truth tables for that. Wait, where was I going with this? Shit. Where was I going with this? I forgot where I was going with this. Okay. So yeah, I've been trying to understand how exactly this works because okay, um more specifically something I've been trying to understand is when I do, what example should I use? Okay, let's print out the type of B. The type is a series. So the example that we're going to create here is a series. Pandas series. In here, we're going to pass in true and false. Why did I type it like that? Okay. Then true and then false. Okay. Right. Great. So we can print out this series. Now, what I'm trying to understand here is what exactly happens when I do this? Because like I'm looking at it as I'm kind of confusing. I'm not able to figure out if I'm supposed to look at it in the form of like the bits of the number, or if I'm just supposed to look at it as one number that all of those other elements are being evaluated against. Um, so okay, the truth table, it with and it only evaluates to true. It only evaluates to true if both of the elements are true, right? So if we are looking at it in this, if we are looking at it in this way, um, so if we look at it from the point of view that it is comparing one to each of those elements, and then we try to figure out the results here. Um, well, so okay, let's say zero is false and one is true. Then true and true is true. True and false is false. True and true is true, and true and false is false. However, if I do this, in the and truth table, it's only one. No, hold on. I forgot. I forgot. In the and truth table, does 0 and 0 evaluate to... Actually, no. If 0 and 0 evaluated to true, because I don't think 0 and 0 evaluate to true. Um, isn't that like exclusive and or something like that? Let me just look up the truth table, because from what I remember, 1 and 1 is 1, 0 and 1 is 0, 1 and 0 is 0, and then 0 and 0 is also 0. Isn't it? Let me hold on. Give me a second. I'm just looking this up on another system. Oh, another thing I need to look into is logical versus bitwise operators in at least in the context of Python, and more importantly in the context of pandas. I need to understand how both of them work and how both of them are different, because I'm pretty sure they're used differently. Right. Give me a second while I look this up. Oh, this is showing me truth tables itself. I'm looking for and specifically. Okay. In and, so false and false is false. False and true is false. True and false is false, and true is true. So that is the and truth table, and that kind of checks out here, right? So because I was confused about whether it was comparing against the bits of the number that I was providing, because like when I do this seems to work as well, and I'm confused about exactly what is going on in this case. Like 0 and 1, I get it, but otherwise, like I'm confused about what exactly is going on here. Okay, hold on. Let's look at it from, well, no, if we look at it as binary, if we look at it in binary form, so if we look at the bits, 1 would be what? Let's say we're talking about 8 bits. It's not 8 bits by default, but let's say we're talking about 8 bits, right? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Right, so that is our, actually, how do you do binary numbers in Python? Hold on. Was it 0B? Is that how you do it? Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, so let's say I pass in this. So that's 1. Okay, if we want to do 2, we do that. So if we compare this, we get, yeah, one of these is supposed to be true. If it's comparing against the bits, then one of them is supposed to be true. So I don't think it's comparing against the bits. But if it's not comparing against the bits, then how exactly is it comparing against numbers higher than 1? Like, what is going on there? This is what I've been trying to find out, like, yesterday around the time that shortly before I went to sleep. I was looking into, oh shit, I missed the ad timer. Okay, there's going to be an ad starting in a little bit. So I'm going to take a hydration break. Is okay. I think it's going to take a couple of seconds. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah. Yesterday I was trying to figure this out for a while before I went to sleep, and then today after I woke up I started streaming. So that's pretty much what I've been doing research on. Well, this and a bunch of other stuff that I mentioned. But okay, so I'm glad that I found out about this query string thing, because the query string, or the condition, the mask, the Boolean mask that I need to generate, it's going to involve multiple conditions, and I need to find a way. Okay, there's an ad playing right now, so I'll see you guys in 30 seconds. All right, welcome back. So, what was I saying? Yeah, I need to find a way. I need to figure out a good way to make it so, okay, I have what, four, let's say for the sake of this example, I have four search parameters. I want to be able to ignore some of those parameters in case they haven't been specified. So if they haven't been specified, I want to pass in like an all value kind of thing. Like, one way to go about doing this would be to do it step by step. So filter based on one parameter, then filter based on another, then filter based on another. I don't know if that can have I don't know if that has any cons though. Other than speed. I don't know if, like, speed wise it's gonna be, I mean, speed is not really a big issue here. Because even if it's a little bit slow, it's not really gonna be that much of a inconvenience. So speed isn't too much of an issue here. But like, one way that I could go about doing this is I generate the search condition based on whether, or well, I generate the Boolean mask. That's more accurate. I generate the Boolean mask based on whether there is some data selected there or not. So if there's, let's say if we're talking about the text box, if there is some some text in there, then we're going to search based on that. But if there's no text in there, then we're just going to pass in all. So it's supposed to return all the records, at least based on that search parameter, right? So then we move past that, and then we can move on to, let's say, client name. So within the client, within that drop down, we have the client names, and we also have two extra options. We have all and none. So all, of course, it means all of the records. None means, well, none of. I still don't know if I want to add none in there. I mean, I added it just for the sake of completeness because there's all, and we can also select. So I wanted to add the option of none as well. But in that case, I feel like none and all kind of evaluate to the same thing, don't they? No, actually, in this case, none doesn't evaluate it. Because, okay, with the clients, like all of the records contain the client name. So if I select none, then there's going to be no records displayed. So none is kind of a useless option there. And it's the same thing with the items as well. I have the items drop down, the items list. You can select one of the items, or you can select the all option, which means it's gonna, select all the records with all of the items. Actually, I need to look into how that's gonna work. There is a way. There is a way for me to go about doing this, because if I select all, something that I could do is I could read the client's list, because the sales data contains the sales data records. They contain like each record contains a client name, right? I've also generated a client's list separately. So something that I could do, real quick, let me just make sure the music is still, nope, music is not still going. All right. So something that I could do is, if all is selected, then, because, okay, how do I phrase this? So, okay, Pandas has some functions to search for to search for records where certain columns contain certain items. Now, I know that you can do that for like one value. I'm sure there's a way to do it for multiple values as well. So in that case, what I could do is I could use that, like, so it could be, so we have like the voucher number, which is the text box thing that you enter the voucher number into. Then we have the client dropdown, where you can either select all, or you can select a single client name. And then we have the item, so you can select the item as well. We also have date. I've set up a start date and end date kind of thing, where well, you can select a start date and end date, and that creates a date range. And then we're going to select records that are within that date range. So I feel like I could do this linearly. Like, if I don't want to combine everything into one, but here's the thing, I kind of want to combine everything into one, mostly because I want to learn how that's done. I could still get away with doing it linearly, but I want to see how I would go about doing it if it's all grouped together, like if it's all one expression. Though, to be fair, I feel like even if it's one expression, it would still be done linearly, because like if you look at, for example, if you look at this expression here, wait, do I still have my example? Yeah, if you look at this expression here, I feel like it's first evaluating this and then evaluating this, isn't it? So it's first evaluating this, and then it's evaluating this, and then it's going in order where like it's going to do this and this. So wouldn't this also count as being linear? I feel like it would, because like this would be similar to if I did, let's say, okay, let's store it in a D variable. D equals A column equals B. Okay, cool. So now that stores that. And then I would do D equals, because now D is also a data frame, right? I do the same thing, but this time I'm selecting column O2, and I'm saying I want it to be less than 5, right? That should work. And then I display the value of D. So that gives us the same result. So here I've done it linearly. This is how it would look if I did if I did the search filters like one at a time. I would still have to generate the condition, which I'm gonna have to look into. I mean, I'm definitely gonna be using the query thing, because that makes it, honestly, that makes it a lot easier. Being able to generate the search query, being able to generate a search query string, or well, a query string, it makes it a lot easier than having to generate, actually not having to generate, than having to set up conditions as pass-through conditions. But because of my curiosity, I want to learn both the methods. I want to learn how I would go about doing uh, the conditions. Like if I'm specifying the conditions, I want to learn how to do that, and I want to then also learn how to do the query thing, because the query thing is it's fairly simple. It's fairly simple. Generating the query string is going to be pretty simple. I mean, there's still going to be some logic involved there, which I have to figure out, but it's going to be fairly simple. Generating the query string and then joining. I'll be generating multiple different pieces, multiple different query strings, and then I'll be chaining them together and running them as one query string. So that's going to be simple. What's going to be complicated, or well, not complicated, but like more, I have to learn it. That's the thing. Yeah, what's going to be a thing that I have to learn is how to use these conditions, like only the conditions, not a query string, because I want to be able to make it. I want to be able to set it up so I have four, let's say four, five. No, it's four. I think. I think it's four. Yeah, I think it's four query strings, and no, not four. What is going on with my voice? Hold on, dude. Give me a second. Yeah. So I'm gonna have four query strings. Not there. I'm saying query strings again. I'm gonna have four conditions, right? But what I need is to be able to make those conditions pass through conditions if need be. So I want to be able to set it up so that those conditions, certain conditions, can be ignored. And like that's where it gets a little complicated for me. I feel like there's a way to go about doing that though. Yeah, I feel like there's a way that I can accomplish that. Like for example, maybe I could set up, like I feel like in each of those cases I would be using a Boolean mask, or well, I would be generating a Boolean mask because like the expression is then going to evaluate to that Boolean mask, right? Um, so what I'm thinking about is, let's say, okay, we have this here, right? We have this condition. Actually, let me rewrite this whole thing. So let's say CND01 is this, right? And then CND02 is this. Great. So we can get rid of that, and we can get rid of this. And here, oh, something else I need to look into with query strings is because like the query string here, it respects the column names. I mean, assuming those are valid column names. I need to see if there's a way to include variables, include like variables from the code. Like I need to see what the situation is there, how exactly it handles, or is it even possible to insert variables in there? Um, but yeah, okay. I was what was I doing? Yes, yes. So we have CND01. CND01 is this. Now, how would we go about converting this entire thing? How would we go about converting this entire thing into true, for example? Because I feel like if we wanted to make it a pass-through thing, we would just make it true, right? Wouldn't that accomplish what we are looking for? Because like, okay, let's do it this way. We have zero. Wait, let's create a markdown thing. So there's no like syntax. Okay. So let's say we are looking at this 4-bit number. Okay, and let's say it's going to be and with, I don't know, this number. Okay, the result here is going to be 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay, but then what if I converted it to this? What would the result be now? Now the result changes. Now it's, oh, that accomplished it. Hold up, that accomplished it. Okay, okay, so then that could work. That could work. So if I'm in a situation where I want this to be true, okay, let's see if Pandas has some helper method. Wait, Pandas all true Boolean mask. All true mask. Pandas data frame filter to return true for all rows. How? Okay, cool. You can create a bool constant and change the final mask by it. Yeah, okay, I didn't take that into account. What if I tried to use the OR operator here? How would that change the result? So, what was the number? I think it was 0101. That's what it was, right? Yeah, I think that's what it was. So, let's say we are doing OR, right? I believe OR is, I think OR also returns true for 1 1, doesn't it? Because like unless you're doing exclusive OR, which XOR, unless you're doing exclusive OR, let me just look up the truth table again. So the truth table says, yeah, 1 and 1 is true. So this is going to be 1 and 0 and 1. No, that changed. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. That changed the entire thing. That is not what I was looking for. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. What if I was doing XOR? I can't do XOR with, at least I don't think I can. I'm going to have to see. I don't think I can do XOR with like, Boolean masks, but let's see. So this is 1, this is 0, this is also 0, and then this is 1. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let's open up that page here. Give me a second. Let me transition back to BRB. Okay. Pandas all true mask. All right. So this is the thing that I'm looking into. Create a bool mask from filter results. Also, while I'm at it, I could just open up that thing that I had looked into yesterday. The thing that I was reading yesterday. Give me a second. Right, so this is what started my research with this. This is what took me down that rabbit hole. Efficient way to apply multiple filters to Pandas data frame or series. So initially, the answer that was given was, I believe it was using multiple conditions, and pretty much what I'm doing. So it's like doing this and then this and this, and then later on. Oh wait, this is interesting. I actually didn't read this section. I kept skipping over this because the next bit was what was interesting to me, because later on the person mentioned, I think much later they edited the answer when this new information was available, I guess. Yeah, so this answer is from 2012, and then in 2018 the answer was updated. Either way, basically they mentioned that there's a query parameter where you can specify a string query, which makes it much easier because then you can generate the query string yourself. And yeah, okay. So let's take a look. So this is what I'd seen on my other machine just now. This person is saying you can create a bool constant and change the final mask by it. So I need to understand how this is working. Yeah, I need to understand how this is working, because essentially what this is doing is, let's say we have this, let's say we have this Boolean mask. It's doing this. This is doing this, at least from what I'm understanding here. df data df.car equals so and so. Yeah, at least that's what I'm understanding, because this is supposed to return. I don't think I've done it in this way. Am I able to do this? Hold on. So let's say a dot call o1. Well, shit, dude, that works. Great. I'll keep that in mind. I think I'd learned this in the beginning when I was learning pandas, and then I just completely forgot about it. I just did not do this. I used the other method, which is, this method, using the square brackets. But yeah, okay. So I need to understand what exactly happens here. Does this expression mean that this is going to be tested against each of these values? Because, like, if that's the case, you know what? We can test that out. We have a series here, right? Yeah, we have a series here. We can test that out. This or this. So true returns true. False returns true. True returns true, and false returns true. Great. That's a good way to... Right. Okay. Cool. All right. That's a good way to set the entire thing to true. So I could then essentially nullify the condition, because if I set it to false, it's not going to return anything. Now, I need to keep in mind that this is, even though I'm trying to group all of them together, it's never actually happening together. It's all happening linearly. So whether I hard code the conditions or I generate a query string, it's all happening linearly, and always specifying the I'm always specifying the order in which it is happening. So I'm then going to have to pick an order. Now I need to see that if I start nullifying these conditions, if I start making them pass through conditions, am I able to change the order in which these conditions are evaluated? As in, am I able to change the order in which the conditions are evaluated without affecting the final result? Because, like, okay, let's think about it in... Okay, okay. So we have date, voucher number, or let's say invoice number, and then client name, and then item, right? So we are currently searching based on these parameters. The date can be a start or end date range. Now let's say we changed the order. Let's say we are evaluating. So invoice number is going to be a text box. You enter the invoice number in there, and then that then evaluates to this Boolean mask. And client is also a similar thing, but like with client, you select. Okay, so with invoice, if you don't enter anything, it should be all. The Boolean mask should be all, basically. But if you do enter something, then the Boolean mask should be either the result or everything is false. Okay, so let's say instead of evaluating the invoice number first, we evaluate the client first. So we select the client first. Now let's say we have selected one client, right? And then let's say we enter an invoice number. So let's say we are evaluating the invoice number next. Okay, I'm just like running this in my head to see if it's actually gonna work. Wait, is the music still going? Yes, okay. All right, so we select a client. So now we are evaluating the client first. Previously, what I was going to do in terms of the conditions, it was going to be date condition and invoice number condition and client condition and item condition. But now what I'm doing is I've changed this to be let's say this. Actually, we are not even going to use date right now. We're just going to use this. Okay, so I want to see if there's going to be a difference between doing this and doing this. Are we going to get different? Is there a chance that we'll get different results with each of these, with these different orders? Okay, so let's say client condition. Client condition is, so let's say, okay, let's say we specify the client, okay? It's one client, and we select, like we generate the Boolean mask based on that, and then we get the records. Actually, no, are we getting the records or are we generating the Boolean mask? It's not going to matter. Yeah, it's not going to matter. Oh, you know what I should do? I should generate Boolean masks and see if the different masks give different results. I feel like that's gonna, yeah, I feel like that's gonna clear up this doubt that I'm having. Right, we can delete all of this and delete this and this and this and probably this as well. Okay, so this is our condition 1, condition 2, condition 3. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this and do this. And that should be, oh God, what did I just do? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Great. So let's say we do this. That is our result. All right. Let's change it to this. You know what? Let's print out both of them and see the results. The results are still the same. Okay. All right. Let's Let's do this. Yep, the results are still the same. Okay, great. Okay, you know what? All right, dude. Okay, I need to go eat something. Okay, I would search for somebody to raid, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go raid Little Witch Oz. Oz is cool people. Oz is a friend, and she's awesome. So we're gonna go raid Little Witch Oz. Did I get that right? I got that right. Okay. Um, yeah. Oz is cool. Oz is awesome. She's currently playing what Baldur's Gate 3. Um, all right, cool. So that's going to be it for today's stream. I'm going to carry on doing this because I'm like super, super invested in this now. And anyways, I was planning on doing this, but I'm glad that I made some progress with figuring out this logic. There's still quite a bit of googling that I have to do because I need to understand what exactly was going on with um with like if I was doing the element wise operation against numbers, like how is it evaluating that? Because when I use 0 and 1, it can be false and true, but like then I do 2, 3, 4, 5, it's still treating that as false and true. So I'm not sure what exactly is going on there. Is it like is it like taking even and odd and still considering it as, 0 and 1, or is something else going on there? Either way, we're gonna we're gonna go hang out in Oz's stream. Um, Garb, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for stopping by and chatting and stuff. Appreciate you being here. Anyone else who might have been hanging out, thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I will see you all next time. Peace.